Hey guys, what's up? I think it's like 2 in the morning here, and it's been a wild ride for Alexi and I with this lawsuit. I can't even tell you what our life's been like. Sleeping nowadays is, I don't know. Today was a really crazy day. We met with a lot of victims, a lot of survivors, talked to our attorneys. It's our lives are like crazy right now. People ask how I'm doing. I'm like, well, it depends on the minute you ask me. You know, some minutes it's amazing, and other minutes it's terrifying. Other minutes it's heartbreaking, depending on who you talk to and what's going on. Other minutes you're filled with righteous indignation. It's anger at these people who are abusing these kids. I mean, honestly, it's like at this point, yeah, we have this lawsuit, but this is not even about the lawsuit for us anymore. It's become so much more personal because, yeah, okay, I've got someone, threatening us with a lawsuit, but starting to meet you guys out there, you guys who have been through horrific things. And I just, nowadays I hear, when I hear people say, oh, you're so brave, it's like, no, you don't understand bravery. Bravery is these victims who have been through hell that most of us can't even ever imagine or shouldn't even imagine. Our imagination should never even be as dark as the reality that many of these victims experience. And what is true bravery? It's not me just fighting back against someone who's suing us. It's these victims who, at the risk of, I don't know, it's interesting because we use the term red pill, and I think a lot of our audience is familiar with that. I was red pilled back in 2004, 2005 about the political corruption, and had this awakening about the Constitution and how corrupt the government was, and that's what started my journey, and I thought I was awake. Yeah, I had no idea. There's a world out there that exists. We don't call it being black pilled. I don't know what to call it, but you understand this world of ritualistic abuse, and it's a world that has turned my world upside down in ways I could have never. I just still can't. That's partly why I'm still awake at 2 in the morning. Because there is a world of darkness out there that rules this world, and it is very real. And Alexi and I have had I don't know what you call it. It's definitely not an honor, but it's definitely, you don't want to look at it. We never wanted to see this. But we've had we've been forced to see it. And, there's something I met with actually a group of really incredible people today that have been through these stuff. And, there's a lot of parallels that cross over between the political and this world. And one of the most profound profound truths, and this goes to those of you who are just, concerned about preserving your freedoms. This truth also applies even more so to those of you who have been victims of abuse. And this is a quote that I think is very powerful. It's from Jordan Peterson. He says, when you have something to say, silence is a lie, and tyranny feeds on lies. And I just want to thank those of you who have been through, this kind of trauma, who've been willing to come and talk. Again, this isn't brave. It's you guys. It's you guys that have been through these things, that come and talk about it, that live in absolute fear of people who are controlling you. Let's just say that. And your kids. I can understand, at least conceptually, what true fear is, and I know a lot of you experienced that. I'd also say that, again, there's nothing more powerful than the stated truth. I'm a big fan of Alexander Solzhenitsyn, and one of the things that we learn from him, and I'd encourage you, everyone, I don't care if you're a victim, I don't care if you're just, you're a patriot, you care about America, but I'd encourage everyone to look into Alexander Solzhenitsyn and understand who he was. A lot of people say that he single-handedly brought down, the communist regime in the Soviet Union. He brought it down. And he says, one man who tells the truth can bring down a tyranny. And my mind is always, because tyranny is built on lies. And again, my perspective that has always been on the political side, going like the whole thing in 2020, all the garbage they tried to push down our throats, and people were afraid to stand up against the government machine that was telling you these lies that we all knew were lies, and I always refused to go along with the lie. I refused to wear that garbage because I knew it was all a lie. But again, it's the same thing that's with this ritualistic and this abuse and this power structure that looms over this state. It feeds on the lies of its victims. It feeds on the lies of the community that go along with it, that don't question it, that don't want to look at it because it's so ugly. It's the same thing as what happened in the Soviet Union or Stalin and Mao. Their power rested on the people staying quiet, not questioning it, or living in fear of coming out and exposing it. But I also had another interesting experience. Literally, our life has been turned over lately to understanding this fight we're in and talking to people. And there's a special person I met tonight. Well, we've talked a few times on the phone, but we met. My wife and I met with them. And they're tied to some pretty high up stuff. And, I guess here's what I would say is, I just encourage you guys to speak out, to talk, whether you've been abused, whether you haven't been. I'd encourage you to listen to these victims. You'll see them in the comments. I'd encourage you to stand for them and to lift and to listen to them, to believe them. Because so many of them, that's for decades they've been told, they've been silenced by the justice system, silenced by the media, silenced by society. These guys know most of us have been living in this world that we don't even know is going on, this power structure that we're not even aware of, and these people who understand it and whoever speak up about it become ostracized. But I'll tell you guys this, I really believe a lot of a lot of those of you who have been through this kind of trauma and have seen true darkness, I believe you have it within you to be the ultimate change makers, to change this system, to bring down this darkness. Like I said, I met with this gentleman earlier this evening, and I could see power in his eyes. I could see light in his eyes, and I believe in him. I believe in you. I believe in, I believe in the power of these men and women who have been through this. And, to the victim, I'm not telling you to come out and, you have to be very wise about how you handle, this. And because you are in very dangerous situations, I'm very, very aware of that. And I'm not going to tell you how to talk or how to state the truth or how to, fight this dragon. But, there are some good organizations out there, Relentless Hope. There's other victims. Start talking to people. If you go to our website, wearethepeople.org, there's scroll to the bottom, there's a email where you can click on to reach out to us, and we'll put you in contact with people we trust, well beyond myself. Again, I'm trying to hear and listen and understand, but I'm not qualified to help you guys through this. By that, I want to claim to be by any stretch of imagination, but there are good people out there who care. But I believe you guys I believe that this battle of good and evil has come to a climax. I believe that God is shining a light on the darkness. I think He has heard the cries from the blood of the ground have come to Him. I believe vengeance is His. I believe God is shining the light on the darkness. People are waking up to it. I think the community has changed to a point where people are ready to accept that there is a level of darkness, that there is an underbelly in this world, in this country, and in this state that does exist. And I think people are coming to a point where they're willing to not live in cognitive dissonance, where they're willing to understand and listen and to realize the world is not as we thought it was. But I think God is stirring. I think God is moving. I think the darkness is scared. I think these people know that there's a lot of loose ends out there, a lot of loose ends. They try to program these people, but it is not. There's a lot of people there's a lot of you who have recognized and are waking up and realizing you were victims. And I encourage you to find a way to start talking about it in the right way. And I cannot tell you what that is because I am aware of the risk associated with that. But I will say this: I believe God has some of His greatest warriors who have been very close to this darkness and who have seen it, who are aware of it. And I believe if that speaks to you, if inside your heart you feel that God sent you to this, and maybe you went through some of this for a purpose, and that maybe your suffering has some meaning, some good that can come, that you can help put an end to this, and help expose it. And I know that how deep this goes, and I know it may seem hopeless. How can you bring this system down when it literally is the control of our government and the ruling of the leadership of this state and country? But remember this, we worship a God, the God of Abraham, the God of, David, who slew Goliath, a God who uses the few, the small, to destroy the mighty. And the odds are completely against us, but it doesn't matter. We're on the right side of this, and we're on God's side. And I just believe God sent us for this time and sent you for such a time as this. And I would encourage you to, listen to that spirit and And again, if I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking to myself right now because it's my own therapy and I can't sleep right now, but we love you guys, and I hope you can recognize what a time it is to be alive. And there is a God, and He is stirring right now. People see it, and so is the darkness. But, I was talking to a group of people today, and a small group of, survivors, and we were talking about this, and I said, the fact of the matter is, I think we all agree the 7 years of tribulation are about to begin, and my wife and I were talking today in bed about being a little, nervous about the road we were walking down and the costs and the consequence. But I think rough times are coming, and I don't know about you, but I'd rather go down those rough times fighting for justice, fighting for a good cause, fighting against this evil, than just suffering like one of the needless, like the sheep and those who are just suffering through the suffering that's coming in. Everyone's going to suffer. There's no one who's getting off this ride easy from what's coming. And if life is going to be hard, if life is going to be filled with tribulation, we might as well be fighting God's fight, and doing something of meaning. So I just encourage you guys, this is really meant not for the general public, it's more meant for those of you who have been through this stuff. I just want you to know that people are waking up to what's going on. We know that this is real, what you guys have been through. Encourage you again not to trust people. I get it. I know I've understood. I understand enough to know that you guys have been betrayed by everybody that's ever tried to help you. But I want you to know that I believe, and I could be wrong, I'm just one guy who's caught in the middle of this and trying to make sense of it all and figure out what God, why I'm here, and my wife, but I truly believe that we live in a time where things are different because of social media, because of this, because one man can sit in his basement at 2 a.m. and have the freedom to speak and not be controlled by the elite. Your voice is, the most powerful thing we all have is the logos, the power to speak. And I encourage you, people, start talking. It goes back to what I said at the beginning, When you have something to say, silence is a lie, and tyranny feeds on lies. And maybe that's why I'm speaking right now, because I have something to say. I've talked to people, and I can't keep my mouth shut. And I will not let anyone force me to cease and desist. I won't pay that. There's no price I'll pay. And they want to silence us, so be it. But they don't understand who we are. They don't understand what drives us. And I know that same drive is within a lot of you, but, not just anyways. I just want you survivors and those of you who've been through this stuff know that we believe you, and it's been really humbling to meet you guys, and yeah, it's been really put our lawsuit in perspective, because it's nothing compared to what you guys have been through and continue to go through. I can't imagine, I don't want to imagine, but I can't deny it or ignore it or look away either. But what I can tell you is I promise to fight. And my wife is committed to fighting too, and I love that little woman. But I believe God put you guys here on this earth for a reason, and at this time for a reason. And I just encourage you to think about that quote. When you have something to say, silence is a lie. And this system of evil, its foundation is people adhering to and accepting the lie. It's time for people to start talking. So anyways, God bless you guys. And just remember, this life is short. And what will be remembered throughout the echoes of eternity is how you fought the fight, what you did with your time on earth. Because you look back to the people who lived in the Gulag archipelago, or who lived in the gulags, or who lived in the concentration camps. The stories who remember are not the ones who died in silence. It's the ones who spoke up and fought. And it is time to fight. So God bless you guys.